In this video, we are going to look at the biology paper 1 for the externals for the year 2022. So here we are going to look at the first question. Which of the following list contains only non-living things in an environment? So question multiple choice A, rocks, snails and grasses. These are living organisms. B, snails. No. C, soil, trees. No. D, sunlight, water. And so this is our answer here. Then we move on to 2. The diagram shows a light microscope. So this is the kind of microscope that operates based on light. So which of the labeled parts moves the objective lens quickly up and down and brings into focus the image under the low power magnification? So here we have 2 parts that does these functions, but because of the lower power magnification, the part that does this is the fine adjusting knob. So that is our structure B. Then we move on to question 3. The diagram shows an animal cell. So this is a sperm cell. Then from this sperm cell, which of the following components of a cell is not found in the cell? So the first one, cell membrane, is there. Chloroplast, that is the answer. So we can't find chloroplast in an animal cell. So this part is found in a plant cell only, since that is why we are expecting to have the process of photosynthesis. Then for question 4, the diagram shows the activity of salivary amylase, pancreatic lipase, and stomach protease at different pH values. So here, let's look at the optimum for each. So if we are to look at this stomach protease, we are expecting to have the optimum between 2 to 3. Then for pancreatic lipase, so let's look at what we are expecting from here. Okay, so between 6 and 7. Then for this one, we can see that if we draw lines parallel to the y-axis, the numbers where we are falling is what is representing the optimum pH. Now let's look at the first question. From the graph, what is the optimum pH value for the enzymes protease? So let's focus on protease only. So for protease, we are expecting to get any number between 2 to 3. So let's look at, do we have any 2 point something here? So for the multiple choices, we can see that we do not have any 2 point something. So the number that is close to 2.5, 2.3 is just 2. So this is our answer. Then for question 5, the table shows food tests carried out to investigate the presence of reducing sugars in an apple fruit. Then method, then we have results / observation. So the first one, Benedict's solution. So this is just our answer. We can't even look at B. B, we have burette, emulsion test, and iodine. So the answer is A. Since even in the observation, we can see that solution turns from blue color to orange. Then let's look at for 6. Which of the following is a disorder resulting from lack of proteins in a diet of a child? So here we have what we call kwashiorkor. Then for 7, a pregnant woman was advised at the hospital to eat food containing adequate amount of iron. What is the importance of iron in the diet of a pregnant woman? So the importance of iron is just needed for the formation of blood in fetus. So from the multiple choices, we are going to select anything that has a connection or that has something to do with the blood. So for A, we have formation of hemoglobin for the fetus. So this is our answer, because we know that hemoglobin is found in blood. Then we move on to question 8. what are the functions of magnesium and nitrogen ions in plants? So magnesium for the formation of chlorophyll. Then we know that for nitrogen, we are looking at formation of proteins. If not proteins, then we can use amino acids. So from the multiple choices, A, formation of amino acid, no. B, formation of chlorophyll, formation of amino acids. So this is our answer. Then for question 9 here, the following is the dental formula of a dog. How many premolars are there in the mouth of this dog? So if you look at the PM premolars, we can see that on each side of the upper jaw we have 4 and the lower has 4. So we'll add 4 plus 4 is 8. Now we know that we are going to multiply by 2. So the total is 16. So there are 16 premolars in this dental formula. So our answer is D. Then question 10. The diagram illustrates the movement of a bolus of food through the esophagus. So we can see the direction, you have the bolus of food. Then this process is referred to as A, assimilation, no, ingestion, no, ingestion, no. So the answer is peristalsis. We know that peristalsis has to do with the movement of food values in our body, if we specify we are looking at alimentary canal. Then question 11. Which of the following is not an effect of ailment of the liver? So ailment, we are looking at the diseases that affects the liver. So now let's look at the first one. High blood sugar, this is an effect. Low blood pressure is an effect. Low toxin levels in the blood, this is not an effect. Because whenever we have an ailment, we are expecting to have high toxin. Because one of the functions of the liver is to make toxins becomes less toxins. So if the liver is not functioning properly, we are expecting to have high, not low. Then we can move on to question 12. Which of the following occur during the inhalation in fish? So operculum must be closed. Pressure inside the mouth must reduce. Flow of the mouth must be lowered. So the answer here is just A. Then we move on to question 13. The following apparatus was set up to investigate one of the products of respiration. Okay, so we can see here we have air, and we know that air is a mixture of gases. So there are gases like oxygen, we have carbon dioxide, we have methane, we have nitrogen, and so on. So what is the use of putting sodium hydroxide in this first flask here? So the sodium hydroxide is there to remove carbon dioxide from the air. So the air that will pass through flask X will not contain carbon dioxide. Since it will not contain carbon dioxide, the lime water will not change. It will stay clear here. So we are going to have a clear solution. Then if this air continues, if it passes through the black pepper, which is a green plant, we know that during night, the plant produces the carbon dioxide. So on this air that is coming into flask Y, we are expecting to have carbon dioxide. And you know that whenever carbon dioxide reacts with lime water, it will give us calcium carbonate. And whenever we have calcium carbonate, we are looking at a cloudy solution. So let's look at the question. So what would happen to the lime water in flask X and Y? So we know that flask X, it will stay clear. Then Y, we are going to have, it becomes cloudy. since there is a chance of the plant to produce carbon dioxide. Then for question 14, which of the following are symptoms of a disease? Now, maybe for us to understand this question, we need to ask ourselves questions like, what is meant by a symptom? So symptoms, these are just indications of a disease that can be felt by a patient, while a sign is an indication of a disease that can be measured or observed by a doctor. So the symptoms, only the patient can describe them. So now let's look at question A. So body weight loss, this is a sign because we are able to see that someone has lost weight. Then if we look at B, coughing is an indication. We can see that coughing also body weight loss. Then C, we have diarrhea is an indication, vomiting is an indication, temperature can be measured. Then for D, headache is a symptom, toothache is a symptom, high body temperature is a sign. So according to my studies and the knowledge that I have for now, I think there is no answer here. I can't see the answer because among these there is a sign. Body weight loss is a sign. Coughing, body weight loss is a sign. Vomiting, high body temperature is a sign. So here we have no answer according to my studies. Now let's look at question 15. The diagrams show cross sections of a stem and root of a plant. Which of the following correctly identify the parts of the plant? So our X is a stem and this is a dicot because of the arrangement of these. Then this one is a dicot root. So then let's look at the multiple choices. We know X is a dicot stem, Y dicot root. So our answer is here. Then the diagram shows some components of blood cells. Okay. Then what are the functions of these components of blood? So the first one, this is a red blood cell, and we know the function, or one of the function of the red blood cells are there to transport oxygen. Then this is an example of a phagocyte. We know that it engulfs. Then for R, we are expecting to produce the antibodies. So the answer is C. Red blood cells transport oxygen. Q, engulf pathogens. Then it produces antibodies. So that is our R there. Then for question 17, which of the following is the function of lymph nodes? So the lymph nodes, this is found under the lymphatic system, and one of the functions of the lymph nodes, they are there to produce the white blood cells, and we know that the function of the white blood cells are there to fight infections. So let's look at question multiple choice A. Prevent backflow of blood, no. Prevent backflow of lymph, no. Prevent diseases. So this is our answer here. Then let's move on to question 18. The diagram shows the structure of a kidney. So the X represents what we call a Malpighian body. So we have a Malpighian body. Malpighian body consists of, we have the parts like glomerulus, then also the Bowman's capsule. So at this structure where we have glomerulus and Bowman's capsule is where ultrafiltration occurs. So ultrafiltration is also known as the pressure filtration. So at least we know that at X we are expecting to have ultrafiltration. Then at Y we are going to have selective reabsorption. This is where some of the useful substances are being reabsorbed back into blood. Then for Z we are going to have osmoregulation. So that is the order that we are expecting to have. Which of these correctly identifies where ultrafiltration, reabsorption, and osmoregulation occurs? We know that X is ultra, Y reabsorption, Z osmoregulation. So this is our answer here. Then for question 19, the diagram shows the human skin. Okay, so M, we have the blood vessels. Then we have, then for N, these are sebaceous glands. They produce wax like material. Then O is a sweat gland. Now let's look at this. What happens to the parts labeled M, N, and O on a cold day in order to regulate body temperature? So body temperature on a cold day, there are some changes, like the blood vessels are expected to constrict, and we know that M is blood vessel, so constrict. So between A and B we have the answer. Then for sebaceous glands, we are expecting them to contract, so the answer is A. Then the sweat glands will not produce sweat since it's cold. Okay, so now let's move on to question 20. The diagram shows glands of the endocrine system. So here, this W, this is an thyroid. This is a thyroid gland. Okay, what is the function of thyroid? It secretes thyroxine hormone. Now let's look at the question. What is the name and function of the hormone produced in the structure of the body, W? So the answer here, we can see that it's D. It's not adrenal. Adrenaline is produced by the adrenal gland. Insulin is produced by the pancreas. Then estrogen is produced by a female ovary. So we know that the answer is D, because the function of thyroxine is to regulate metabolic rate of the body. Then for question 21, the diagram shows a section of the human body, human brain. So our A, this is our cerebrum. So we have the cerebrum. Then our B, we have cerebellum. Then our C, we have, this is medulla oblongata. Then our D, this should be pituitary gland. So which of the labeled parts is responsible for reasoning? So reasoning is associated with the cerebrum, which is the A. Okay, so now we move on to question 22. Deafness can best be prevented by cleaning ears regularly with hard materials, no, cleaning ears regularly with soft materials. So this is our answer, because here we can see that we have loud music, soft music, no. So the best answer is cleaning ears regularly with soft materials. Let's go to question 23. Which of the following correctly compares a ball and socket joint and a hinge joint? So ball and socket A allows movement in all planes. This is true. Hinge joint allows movement in one plane. This is also true. So the answer is A. When light is switched on in a dark room where there are cockroaches, the cockroaches move away from light and quickly hide in dark places. So we are trying to find the response by which an organism responds by moving away. So we know that since a cockroach moves away, the response of moving from one position to another is what we call toxic. Now, since it has to do with light, so we are expecting to have phototoxic. Now, since it's moving away, it's negative. So whenever an organism moves away, it's negative. If it moves toward the stimulus, that is what we call a positive response. So we can now move on to question 25. So the diagram shows a longitudinal section through a monocot seed. So this is this is what we call, this is our endosperm. This is our endosperm. Then our B is our cotyledon. Then C we have plumule. Then we have radicle. So after germination, radicle changes into root system. Plumule changes into a shoot system, or it grows into a shoot system. Cotyledon, then it transports nutrients. Endosperm stores the nutrients. Then which of the labeled parts is not present in a dicot seed? Like which of these parts is not present in a bean seed? So in bean seed we don't have endosperm, so A is not there. Then question 26. The diagram shows stages of asexual reproduction in a yeast cell. Okay, so we can see that we have one cell, then it divides. So this is a binary fission, because the question is what type of asexual reproduction is illustrated in the diagram? It's binary. Binary fission is similar to mitosis, where one cell divides to form two cells. So we move on to question 27. Which of these plant parts can be used during vegetative reproduction? Fruit, no. Leaf bud, yes. And during the vegetative propagation, where we use budding, where a bud of one flower is taken into a plant of another. Okay, so 28, the diagram shows a longitudinal section of a flower. Which parts will continue growing after fertilization has taken place? So the ovule and the ovary will continue. So 3 is the ovary. Then 4, these are ovules. So these two will continue. So the answer is D. 3 and 4. Then question 29. Which of the methods of seed or fruit dispersal carries the seeds the shortest distance? So animal, no. Self. So the answer is self. For self dispersal, the seeds that are scattered does not move or does not acquire a longer distance. So let's go to question 30. The diagram shows the female reproductive system and its associated structures. So we have B is the ovary, and the function of the ovary, or functions of the ovary, includes producing or releasing an egg every after 28 days, also production of hormones such as estrogen. Then our A, this is the fallopian tube. We know that this is where mostly fertilization occurs. Then the fallopian tube is also known as the oviduct. Okay, so then for C, where this is the endometrium. In endometrium is just the lining of the uterus. So we have the uterus here. Then our D, we can see that this is It has to do with the cervix. Which labeled part identifies where implantation occurs? So implantation is just the process by which a fertilized egg attaches or makes contact with the wall of its mother. So the answer is C. The implantation occurs in the uterus. Okay, so now we move on to question 31. So question 31, which of the following is not a cause of infertility in human beings? So alcoholism, this causes blocked oviduct, it causes ovulation disorder, it causes poor nutrition. This is our answer here. Okay, then 32. What method of birth control affects the normal functioning of hormones? So since it has to do with hormones, we are going to look at the birth control that works on hormones. So it is just the contraceptive pills, because this has to do with the hormones. Then question 33, which stage of mitosis is illustrated in the diagram? So here we can see that this process of mitosis is almost done. So what is the order of the stages that are involved in mitosis? So there is what we call IPMAT. So the IPMAT will assist you to know the order. So the first one is interphase. After interphase, we have P, prophase. Then we have M for metaphase. Then A for anaphase. Then we have telophase. Now telophase is the last. So since here we can see that the cell is almost as divided into two daughter cells. So this is our anaphase here, because it's almost done. For telophase, then that shows that the cells or the daughter cells have completely formed. Then we go to question 34. Two individuals who had normal skin color had a child who was an albino. What is the probability that they will have another child who is an albino? So since these two were normal for skin color, so this means that they were carrier for this albinism. So what are we going to do? We are going to make a genetic diagram so that we are able to see the chance. So we'll say A, capital letter A for normal color, then small letter a for a defect. So this will also happen for the other one. So these two must be a carrier for them to have this, since the two were okay. So let's make a quick genetic diagram. So this is homozygous for normal skin color. This is heterozygous still for normal. Then here we can see that we have heterozygous still for normal. Then here this is now the defect. So we can see that out of the 4 chances there is only 1 chance. So what you do is you say 1 over 4. So we need to divide 4 into 1. It can't, so 0, we put a decimal, we add d here. So 4 into 10 is 2, remainder 2. Then 4 into 20 is 5. So the chance is 0.25. Question 35. Which of the following lists of organisms consist of only vertebrates? So vertebrates are animals with backbones, and these animals, they consist of endoskeleton. Most of these have endoskeleton. So let's look at the first one. We have amphibians, birds, fish, protozoa, no. Then B, arthropods. So we know that arthropods are insects, so no. Then C, bird, fish, reptile, protozoa, no. Then For D, birds, yes. Reptile, fish, yes. Mammal. So the answer here is D. 36. An experiment was carried out to investigate the drainage of 3 different types of soil samples, X, Y, and Z. Some amount of each type of soil was placed in a funnel and the same volume of water was poured into the funnel. The experiment was allowed to stand for an hour. The diagram shows the result of the experiment. Okay, so let's look at, we'll consider this one experiment. This one as our A, B, then C. So from these 3 illustrations, we can see that in C, there are only a small amount of water that was collected in the measuring cylinder. Then for B, we can see that B is showing the highest. So this tells us that the soil in Y has the ability to allow water to pass through. So here we are looking at the water retention is very, very low. So from this, which one has a higher water retention? So the one with high water retention is C, because it is able to store water. So what soil is that one? So for Z, this is a clay soil. Then for Y, this should be a sand, because sand has the lowest water retention. Then here we are expecting to have a loam. Then let's look at which of the following identifies the different types of soil. So we are saying, we said X is loam, then sand. So the answer here is C. Then question 37. The figure shows a food web in a given ecosystem. So how many herbivores are there in this food web? So what are herbivores? These are animals that feeds on plants only. So a grasshopper, we can see that the cabbage here is the producer. Then herbivores are primary consumers. So grasshopper and rabbit. So we only have 2. 38. The following are factors that can cause a change in the human population, except A, disease, no changes, earthquakes, changes, immigration, changes, number of species, changes. So that is the answer. Then we go to 39. The diagram shows the carbon cycle. Okay, so green, plants, atmospheric carbon dioxide. Okay, so let's look at the question. Which of the labeled processes removes carbon from the atmosphere? So it's process A. Why? This is photosynthesis. Photosynthesis is the only process in nature that uses carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. So this is our answer here. Then for the last question, question 40. What is the negative effect of overuse of fertilizers in a farmland near a stream? So it causes what we call eutrophication. So this is what I can share with you guys for this video. So that's it for this video. Thanks for watching.